And we mentioned the attack on Pearl Harbor, and we want to talk about now, once America gets involved in the conflict, all right, there's a couple things that we need to do. One, Great Britain's super excited. You see the picture here on your screen, Winston Churchill and Franklin Roosevelt with some other Navy officials. But Churchill, to the immediate left of FDR, they get together and plan war strategy. Okay? And Churchill's excited because, number one, he's got an ally now. And number two, America doesn't just bring fighting personnel to the war. What's America's biggest advantage? Resources. Okay? Not only is America a huge land with a lot of resources, but the war's not happening there, which means our factories don't have to worry about getting blown up or having bombs dropped on them. We're free to create more material, and we've got millions of people available for service. Right? Now, when Churchill and FDR meet, they agree on a couple things for the war. One, they said there's only one outcome for this war: unconditional surrender. They said this war ends one way: America and Britain are on the winning team. Japan, Italy, and Germany are going to lose, and there will be no treaties. There'll be no peace agreements. We're going to wipe them out. Unconditional surrender. That's the only way this war ends. And they're like, look, they're committing a lot of resources and personnel to winning this war. Right? Unconditional surrender. Now, the second thing that they have to decide is, we got a problem with the war. Okay? Over here in Europe is where a lot of the fighting's going on. Obviously, Great Britain over here. Here's the Soviet Union. You got this theater, the European theater. But now you also have to worry about Japan. Okay? And so the war's over here as well. What's the bigger priority for Churchill and Roosevelt? The war in Europe or the war over here in the Pacific? The war in Europe for sure, but why? It's not because it's closer, and it's really not for America. It's about equidistant, really. Why is it that the war in Europe is the bigger priority? Why do they look at Hitler and the Nazis and say they're a bigger priority than the Japanese? They're the bigger threat, okay? They agree, Franklin Roosevelt agrees that, look, this war we're still going to fight over here against the Japanese, but this is the bigger threat. Hitler has access to more resources, and he's conquered way more territory. He's the bigger problem. All right? The Japanese are a problem too, but not to the extent that Hitler and the Nazis are. So they said, look, Europe is the first priority, and America will focus some of its resources here on Japan. And the idea was, like, this green zone right here around the map, this basically was where Japan controlled after the attack at Pearl Harbor. They had colonized a lot of these areas, and so Japan, they said, look, don't let Japan expand any further. Okay? Start pushing them backwards slowly, but just don't let them expand any further. If we can do that, then we'll be all right. And once we finish up over in Europe, then we'll finish off the Japanese, one thing at a time. Okay? Now, the second thing to mention about these war plans here, once America gets in the war, this is going to end the Great Depression. The amount of resources that are necessary to fight the war means that businesses have plenty of things they're going to have to produce. You think about uniforms, weapons, even just the food supplies. And there's lots of things that get invented as a result, including a new vehicle that Americans drove around in, military vehicles that were called the General Purpose Vehicle, or the GP, which got turned into the Jeep. That's where Jeeps came from. Right? All kinds of inventions came out of the use of World War II here. And like I said, American businesses are excited because there's plenty of things that they're going to need. Now, one other thing we're going to mention, over in Europe, while America and Great Britain are getting their plans together, remember, we talked about why nations go to war, that Hitler tried to invade the Soviet Union, and that's not going to go well at all. But we'll pick up with that for another day. Okay?